The major earnings are out. Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Google, all out have reported. We also had the FOMC decision, Fed Powell's last date, but he said, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I still want to be a part as somewhat of a governor inside of the Fed. So he is still going to have some say in the decisions that are being made in the future, at least for now. All right. We will have a new Fed chair coming up in the next month into the next FOMC meeting. So look out for that. Do your due diligence on that. But in today's video, I want to go over Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Google, and then also maybe some of you yesterday, if you heard about my video, if you haven't watched it, go watch that about Robinhood and SoFi and some other sneaky ones that are in there that are on a dip. All right. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. B. If you've never been here before, check the links down below if you'd like to support the channel. We are growing almost to 4,000 subscribers. Thank y'all so much for the support. If you have not yet subscribed, I don't typically ask, straight to the camera. I'm gonna go ahead and say, if you are not subscribed yet, double check right now. Go ahead, hit that subscribe, get us to 4,000. I think we're about 10 away, and then we'll be on our route to 5 and then to those 5-figure numbers, 10K plus. All right, thank y'all so much. Let's jump into it today, and let's give a brief summary of what's going on. Microsoft, I've got a simple, more welcome to pause or screenshot or whatever, but if we have these AI tools at our disposal, why not? So I've already read over these myself, going over just giving a simple summary. Do your own due diligence on the fundamentals, meaning how these earnings reports actually were. Do your due diligence on the back end, because don't ever trust AI fully, in my opinion, and then look at the technicals, which we'll do here on the channel. All right, so the results here, we got a beat estimate, and then we also have exceeded beat again. Operating income rose strongly, bullish, solid cloud and AI momentum continues, Azure Copilot adoption. Yes, we already kind of knew that. Bearish or just a little bit cautious, higher AI related cost. Those are the things that have been on the radar for a lot of our tech stocks. If you've been wondering why they've been popping and dropping, is essentially we've got these AI related costs where we know AI is the future, but there's still this arbitrary, well, how much money are we actually spending? What's going to be the return on investment? Are we going up too quickly? Okay. Mildly bullish overall, still Microsoft on a dip. I think a great buy, no questions asked. As far as trading purposes, we'll go on the charts and see what might be some trade ideas for tomorrow if you are looking to trade with options. And also if you're a futures trader or other trader as well, may look at what that may look like on SPY, QQQ, and IWM. Meta, we got beat and also a beat, strong beat there. Ad business performed well. Revenue, profits beat comfortably. Bearish company raised CapEx guidance significantly. Again, AI spend, okay? So again, if you're questioning why these companies are dropping and they double beat, I've talked about this multiple times. If you've heard me below, say it below, down below. Yes, Dr. B, you've mentioned this. This is the reason why these companies are not reacting to the upside when you're like, man, they're killing earnings. That is good for the future, because if AI picks up and they finally get their AI spend under control where it made sense, then it's all going to make sense in the future. So in my opinion, not financial advice, keep buying the dips that are given to you. All right. Overall tone mixed to bearish on the reaction, good numbers overshadowed by higher spending outlook. Same thing as Microsoft. Amazon. I don't think there's any question about Amazon personally. A little flat. I'll have to check it when we jump into the charts here. I checked it roughly about 20 to 30 minutes after the market closed. It was kind of flat, but double beat, same thing, bullish. AWS performance, retail segment, yes. If you use Amazon, you already know, no brainer. Bearish, ongoing heavy AI build, still the same thing. It's not necessarily bearish. It's just the pressure on the stock is going to continually get pushed, in a whiplash fashion back and forth. Okay. Very, very volatile in a lot of these tech stocks because of the AI movement. So they can drop very quickly, but they also can rise very quickly, as we saw in April. Overall tone, bullish, no questions asked. I'll give levels when we jump into the charts. Alphabet or Google, revenue double beat, massive. Just Google's just been on an extremely just generational run. I mean, if you have Google underneath $100 in the last couple of years, I remember when it was consolidating around that $147 to $150 level, told my community that was a buy of a buy of a buy. Even as it was rising, continually buy, Google's just, any dip is getting bought up on Google, just completely strong. Tone bullish, clean beat, broader strength, just Google, if anything. And the funny thing is, not necessarily funny, but Google was one of those sleepers, like, oh man, it's just an age old. And I'm not saying you're saying that, but that was the sentiment, because Google and Apple were very much lagging, okay, as the semiconductors were running, Nvidia, and then you got Meta going crazy, and Microsoft even, and then Google and Apple were just silently sitting in 2024 into 2025. Those were the buys. Even Amazon was lagging a little bit. Okay, so look out for those sleepers. And we'll find some as we get the next dip. And even right now, I still think the software space, okay, IGV, I will keep beating it into the YouTube streets saying IGV. Okay, that is the ETF of the software slash SaaS tech space. Okay, just go look at that ETF and what the holdings are. Oracle, Palantir. I know these are continuing. Microsoft is ahead of there. We got CRM, Salesforce, so on and so forth. Okay. Now, why I wanted to pull this up is the fear and greed index. We are still sitting in the middle of greed. Okay. So what this is saying is that the market is in a healthy place. Okay. People are continually buying the dips. But as we push up into this extreme greed, and on the charts, that just means if we continually see maybe one new more breakout of an all-time high, maybe it goes into May, and typically the summer is a little bit more bullish in nature, but this is a different type of year where we have seen, and I personally have seen, where the summer of a midterm year has been a little bit shaky. Okay, so watch out for this extreme greed and greed sector here over the next couple of weeks into the next couple of months. All right, if we stay up in here, continually trade the trend, buy the dip. But just like we were in extreme fear down here, when we get into extreme greed or close to greed, the market can have a whiplash pullback and we go back into fear. Okay. It's just the nature of back and forth of the market. All right. So just want to show you that gauge there. Let's jump into the charts here. All right. SPY still holding up bullish above this 708 level. And you can see in the after hours at 713. So still a nice buy up dip here above there. No really continuation push through that 708, 707 level. And if you want to mark this, if you're not a big moving average person, I kind of give them a guide, right? This 9 EMA here on a daily chart, right? Looking at that, still holding that up pretty strong. If that starts to break underneath, okay, that 9 EMA, and we start to roll back underneath, that's where I think we'll get the big pullback level. But if we want to pop, this is what I was talking about, continue and pop a little bit higher like that and continue to run a little bit further, right? There's no stopping this right now. There's no signal, but there is a little bit of consolidation / exhaustion. So I'm just watching this into here to say it's bullish, but until otherwise, just watch for the okie doke, as we like to say. Continue to trade it up, but do not be surprised if some news event, some article, the sell in May, go away, sentiment comes in and we flip and it just goes like that. Okay. Now, why do I say that? For those of you that are regulars here, is just to say, I don't want anyone flipped upside down. Okay. So this more so means for trading. For your shares and long term, you should be sitting pretty nice, in my opinion. If you bought any type of dip, you should be sitting pretty nice. You should be up on your portfolio for the year. You should be up over the last couple of years, decades, however long you've been investing. All right. So continue to look at that as bullish. And if you see there, Dr. B, is that a gap? Yes, it is. Okay. So we're sitting in that gap in the after hours. 713 is trying to retest 715, 716, takes out that 716. We're going higher. Qs also have a gap, which is already filled in the after hours, 665. All right. I think Qs personally are trying to go to that 670. Okay. So we'll see tomorrow. There will be a gap at the open, but if it continues into 670, that will leave a gap down below and we shall see what happens from there. But as you can see, this is rolling up higher and then trying to take out that highs at 665 in the after hours. Let me show you here as the extended hours are on there. There's that candle. Okay. IWM 270 is a really, really good support level. Okay. 270. I want you to look at this previous high here. That's where the breakout level retest and then could flip and then roll higher. So watch out for IWM. If it reclaims and gets back above 272, I'd watch that for a little bit more upside potential on IWM. It is still forming lower highs, but if it reclaims with strength, okay? For those who don't know, reclaim, remember the dark black area is when the options market is open. The light gray area is the after hours when futures and Forex and other things are traded. So this black area here is yesterday. Okay. This was today. So if we get back above that 272, 273, that yellow line right there, that would change trend and we would start rotating back up. Okay. If it can't get back above that kind of 270, I'm going to mark it at 273 area, then we're going to pop into that 273 and then probably roll lower. So watch 273 on IWM tomorrow, how it reacts. Okay. IGV, here's that ETF of the SaaS, Microsoft, so on and so forth. But y'all didn't come here for all that. Let's look at the major companies that reported. Let's go over Amazon really quickly. Okay, a lot of whiplash back on Amazon. Strong beat. We saw that. I just read over it. But Amazon, as long as it holds above that 267 and ultimately 270, there's that previous high right there. Breakout 267, 270. Amazon can try to roll to 280 plus. So just watch the previous highs on Amazon, 267, 270 on Amazon. Google gave this level to my community. I was asked, where was Google going? I did a Fibonacci extension on Google. Okay. And did it from this low right here. Here's where I was talking about 150 on Google right there. Okay. Extended all the way up into this high, pulled back, and you see the levels that it's giving. See those levels above? 377. All right. 377 would be potentially a next target for Google. 375 to 377 on Google for the next level. And then maybe it just wants to go to 380. Okay. So if you look in the after hours, it's already kind of sitting there. That is one of the targets, 380. And then maybe trying to go to 400. Who knows? But Google just on a generational run there. Microsoft flat, just that AI spend. Meta, just told you what that was. That is the AI spend on Meta. I'd be careful, but just filling those gaps below. And Meta, be mindful of this. Meta is still below the daily 200. That is a big sentimental moving average. That orange line right there, okay? That is the daily 200 moving average. Every time a company is underneath that daily moving average, especially a big tech company, I think it's a great buy opportunity, but also you have to be mindful that that is still technically weak. So anywhere in this zone, I think is a buy for, not financial advice, but I think it's a buy anywhere around 600 or so for Meta. I like these gaps to get filled. I like Meta back underneath $500. If it can do that and do one of these things like that, I think that's even better for Meta, but it's just consolidating, as you can see, back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. And right now it's at 626 in the after hours. Okay. So it may want back down to 600. We shall see, but there you go on Meta. NVIDIA. Okay. NVIDIA has been playing games a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Okay. I thought NVIDIA was going to make an INTC type of run. Okay. Look at INTC, almost up to 100. Okay. There you go. 100. So NVIDIA 208 is your support on NVIDIA. As NVIDIA reclaims previous highs, 212, you have 220 in sight. Okay. It's trying to do one of these things back up like this, in my opinion. All right. So look out for NVIDIA back to the highs here, reclaiming. There are some gaps above that I thought personally it was trying to fill today, but just a little bit too weak. Okay. There's a small gap to 213 and there's the bigger one up to 215. Okay. What a move on Intel. Look at this monthly candle on Intel. My goodness. There's 100. There you go. So wanted 100 and now it is getting 100. All right. So Intel, AMD on a generational bounce again. Okay. My goodness. AMD just, it pulled back $30, $40, and now it's bounced from 308 back to 350. It is moving like MU, like Tesla's moving. I mean, geez. So again, as you can see, everything is still very much bullish right now. I would stick with that thesis as the month of April finishes off on a strong note tomorrow. And then we have the month of May on a Friday starting out. All right. So if y'all have any questions for me, let me know. Hood, also another one here I would keep my watch on. It is in a very, very, very interesting support level right here at a retest of $70. Okay. $70, and it's starting to show a little bit of support. Not much buying happened. I think it's more of everyone exiting their shorts. But if Hood gets back above that 72, I'd watch that. 72 is the market open from today. Okay. So the market opened right here on Hood 72.30. Okay. If it can get back above that 72.30, that will reclaim all this and start squeezing. Okay. So I would watch that on Hood. I like shares down here personally. I think a lot of people are looking for Hood to go lower. I could see that, right? I could see Hood breaking down into the 60s again, but in the short term, I would watch Hood right here in this area because last time just absolutely catapulted off of 70 to 78 very quickly. Okay. SoFi, same thing as well. I think SoFi is in another buy zone. All right. So if you missed SoFi the first time at 14.15, you got another opportunity. It may pull back into my 12 level that I wanted it. So the levels are leveling. Play the levels, buy the shares if you're a little uncertain with options. But yeah, here's another sleeper. QCOM, $175. It has filled all of these gaps back to the upside and is back here. Well, Brian, what do we do with that? Well, it's 125, and I would look at the resistances now up here at 176, and maybe it's trying to rotate back up to that 183. All right, just giving the whole curling rotational move back up, and yeah, just missed all of it. Called this out in our community and just, my gosh. Anyways. All right, folks. Thank y'all so much. Per usual, I appreciate you for coming in, tapping in. Let me know down below in the comments how you have done with these generational runs with some of these companies and shares, and also with some options trading as well. April is behind us. Not going to lie, my community knows this. Did well in April, but not as well as I should have as far as options trading went, just because it just kept gapping up and gapping up and gapping up. I got no continuation on my moves that I wanted. I had to stop out, re-enter, get the move. It wouldn't continue, came back down, came back up. I'm like, all right, well, shares long-term, there you go. All right, so thank y'all so much. Per usual, I appreciate you. Hit that like button, subscribe button, turn on notification. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.